The opinions expressed in this podcast may cause offence. Wayne and Trev do not give a stuff.
You're listening to A Midlife Less Ordinary, the weekly podcast giving you the lowdown on becoming a cool older dude. The good times are not a faded memory. It's time to start living them again. And here are your hosts, Wayne and Trev.
Hello everyone and welcome to A Midlife Less Ordinary. My name's Wayne and I've got my special friend Travis Dealey waiting to say hello. Trav, are you there?
I am here. I am, yes.
You
Travis Dealey, the Irish-influenced blues guitarist.
Tell the story, Trev. Tell the story.
The story is one of our past guests, Jordan, an actual Irish blues guitarist, very talented young man, was mentioned on another podcast, All Things Blues and Southern Rock, Jason Johannes' podcast, and he was interviewing the Cold Stairs, which I know Jordan kind of I don't know if he discovered it through us, but he's a big fan like we are. And they went to mention Jordan about them touring Ireland and him being the support act. And Jason, the host of All Things Blues, got mixed up and called me Trav Dealey, the Irish guitarist.
Well, he called Jordan Travis Dealey, didn't he?
This is, poor old Jordan. It's like the first shout out he's got in America, I think. And but yeah, it was funny listening to it because obviously I hadn't heard it. And then Jordan messaged us and said, listen to this. And Chris at the Cold Stairs was a bit baffled, I think, as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got confused with the name. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, and listening to Jason's stuff on that All Things Blues and Southern Rock's a great listen. Really is.
Yeah, so if you're into
he's
that,
had some great guests on that. So if you're into it like I am, that's a great listen. And we apologise to Jordan. We'll make it up to Jordan somehow.
Yeah,
when we
definitely. Well, they know. Everyone will know who you are soon, Jordan. Anyway,
exactly. Cool. So, Rob.
Bit of a mixed bag, Trev. It's lovely to be back again, but we've got a bit of something to tell. I mean, this is 50 for 50, isn't it? We're 50
for 50.
We're two 50-year-old men, and we're doing our 50th episode. And I don't know if I can bring myself to say it, Trev.
This is it. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Yeah. I was going to say King of the Road, but that's not really. Yeah, we've come to a bit of a decision where. I can't even bring myself to say it, Trev.
No, stop crying. Just got sag in my eye.
Yeah, it is.
I got sag in. I was going to say
it's better than that thing that got stuck in your ear. But you've totally ruined the moment now. Look, we'll talk about that.
The reason we took a break for a couple of weeks and have made this very sad decision was Wayne was working for a week. And couldn't get to his equipment, so that was a week.
Well, I could get to my equipment, all right. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, all right. But to be honest, no one wanted to just listen to me on my own because that's boring as bollocks. But that was 1 week, and then, like an absolute fucking tool, I managed to get another earbud stuck in my ear and give myself an ear infection. And I had a very, very nice lady come round from a company called Here.
Oh, they're getting a
who
promo
extracted it with a mini ear vacuum. And it cost me £70, but it was £70 well spent because I felt like the man from Atlantis before that for about 3 days.
Come on, Patrick.
So I can't thank her enough. There's a little shout out for her. But Wayne, tell everybody what we've come to a decision.
After we've had 2 weeks off, we realised that it's time to park. I can't even say it, Trev. It's time to park A Midlife Less Ordinary for a while we take a break and let everyone enjoy the 50 episodes that we've put out there already.
Exactly. It's not the end, is it?
No,
I don't think.
It's not. It's au revoir, but not goodbye.
It's just
the same thing, isn't it?
Very nice to put that. That's enjoyable, that. Yeah.
Sayonara?
Yeah. To be honest, it's been amazing. We've listened back to a few bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing. But it's so difficult trying to fit it all in, isn't it? Because we started it in lockdown where we had loads of times on our hand. Furloughed. And it's been amazing, but it's so difficult to do it every week, isn't it?
We've got to line up guests to come on. We've got to interview them separately.
The social media side.
Editing side, social media.
You do. It's good. So really, I tell you what, before I forget it, talking of like past episodes, I'd like to retract one of my comments from one episode, if you don't mind.
You can do that.
I said how good the Book of Boba Fett was after 2 episodes. How wrong was I? Because it's absolute cobblers, isn't it? It's awful, isn't it? It's just crap. Honestly, I was watching it like car crash TV in the end. I was moaning at it for so long. My partner Laura was just like, why do you watch this? Why are you watching this? I got some kind of weird happiness out of slagging it down.
Yeah, that's it. You're getting angry about it. Yeah.
I am getting angry about it, man. I am getting angry about it. But so I'm just taking that back. It was good for 2 episodes and there were some moments in it, but the rest of it was absolute brown shoots.
So all you Star Wars fans that have come into, trying to think Trev's redeeming himself after the Star Wars episode, our first episode that ever came out,
first episode,
which you'll hear a little bit of today.
Yeah.
He's not redeeming himself, basically. He's just carried on. It's a slagging.
Yes, exactly.
It's a real slagging.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But we're going to, today's a celebration. Them 50 episodes are still going to be online for your enjoyment. And when I've been going through them the last few days, because basically this is going to be a compilation podcast. It's going to be a longer than normal podcast because we got sections from the podcast we've done, the interviews we've done, and we're going to talk in between and say how we felt at that time and how funny it was. Because I'd forgotten, Trev, and you, like we were saying, because we listened back to it, because I've given you the master tape. What's that? That's like going back a bit, isn't it? The master tape. The rough edit, sorry. And you saying like, how much, you can't believe how much we've got through speaking to some of these sort of high profile musicians.
And the thing is, what I not blowing our own trumpet. Fanfare. Yeah. Considering we've never done anything like this before, I don't mean to. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, I am as well, mate.
I really am.
I am.
It's been.
We've
really
had thousands and thousands of downloads from all over the world in one year. We've had sponsorships. We've made good friends. We've spoke to interesting people. We'll mention all of you some point today. Yes, and none less so than a person that's been mentioned a lot during the podcast, Trev. That's quite funny, childish humour, I know.
But very one of the
funniest people we have, and we're going to play a part of it now. It's Eugene Nikobolikov. He had a few mentions, and then he joined us on the show, didn't he?
He did. Our Russian dissident.
So let's remind ourselves of when Eugene come and joined us on the show.
Hello, as promised, we've managed to find our interviewee tonight. It's a guy that we spoke a lot about. He's live from Russia by telephone, so bear with us, because obviously sometimes the telephone system in Russia isn't that great, and I know he's in a secret location at the moment. Good evening, Mr. Nikobolikov. Or can I call you? Hello, can I call you Eugene, or is it Nikobolikov?
Sorry.
Is it Eugene, or is it Mr. Nikobolikov? How would you like to be known?
Nikobolikov.
Thank you. Wayne, would you like to ask Mr. Nikobolikov a little bit of background, please?
Certainly will. And Mr. Nikobolikov, is it true that you were found on a Russian dating site known as The Spy Who Loves You?
I'd rather not say.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Anything you don't feel comfortable on with Mr. Nikobolikov, obviously just a yes or no, or how in Russian you want to say it.
Please call me Eugene.
Eugene. I feel a lot more comfortable calling you Eugene, I must admit. I feel a lot more comfortable. Back to the dating site very quickly, just something. Did you find love on this dating site, Eugene?
Very much.
Very much love. Very much love. Obviously a popular guy. Obviously a very popular guy. Wayne.
I have a lot to offer.
Sorry, the line was bad. Sorry.
I have a lot to offer.
Yes, that's what we've heard. And that's what the next question we'd like to ask you. We've heard that obviously this is sensitive information, and why you're in hiding is that you're ex-KGB and you're a dissident now. You're opposing the regime in Russia because of what happened at Chernobyl. Is that, can you confirm or deny that, Eugene?
Yes,
It's true.
It's true.
it is very true.
Very true. Right. Because we don't really kind of want to push you on the sensitive matter of having 3 testicles. Do you believe that the 3 testicles is linked to the Chernobyl incident?
It's very possible.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Did you very quickly as well? I know I keep saying about his dating site because we did find it quite interesting tracking you down. Do you think that having 3 testicles has made you more popular on that dating site? Did you tell the ladies, or I'm saying it's ladies? You might have been looking for other people. Did it make you feel that you had something extra to give?
Please, Trevor, don't ask Eugene that question. Russians are very militant in this fashion. I believe.
Sorry, perhaps I'm just going a bit too far. I apologise, Eugene. I really do.
Can I ask though, Eugene, if we're still allowed to call you that, obviously, is having an extra testicle from a scientific point of view? Because I'm interested in this type of thing. Does that mean you have more testosterone?
It is very true, yes.
You sound very masculine, to be honest. You sound like
you do. Yeah,
very. You couldn't ask for a more masculine man than you. Definitely, just from your voice. I'm not. I mean that. That's from the bottom of my heart. I'm not blowing smoke.
Thank you.
Have you found, Eugene, that through your testosterone you become more hairy, or is that?
This is very true. Very,
Right.
very hairy.
Right. I'm glad you've agreed to this interview because we have mentioned you often, and some of our listeners were quite interested in the background. Have you taken any steps to have the testicle removed? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? Do you sit properly? Can you sit down in any kind of chair? Is it?
How I sit is nothing to do with you.
Right. See, again, I'm pushing it too far. I apologise. I really do.
If you listen to the podcast generally, Eugene, you would know that Trevor's often dropping himself in it. It's just obviously we don't usually have ex-KGB, and he doesn't mean to do it. I can promise you that. He's a good man, Trevor.
Yes.
So please don't take offence with anything he says.
I'll be the judge of that.
Oh, dear.
See, the thing is, with the nations of the UK and the Russian nation, obviously our cultural differences are very wide apart. Do you wear tightish trousers? Is that allowed in Russia? Sorry, I'm going over it, Tom. I just can't get past the novelty fact. I apologise. I really do.
I think before we offend you, Eugene, as you can see, Eugene prefers my technique than you in this matter.
I shall step back.
I'm just a bit worried. I mean, can I just ask you, Eugene, is there any chance that you may be going umbrella shopping anytime soon?
Just wait.
Oh dear.
I'm just hoping that the weather stays good now. And because I walk to work, so I'm an easy target. Yeah, to be honest, I really am.
I'd keep a look out if I were you, but
yeah,
definitely. But it's, as you know, to wrap up this, you've been very informative, Eugene. Thank you for joining us, as Trev said. Is there any words you'd like to say to the Midlife Less Ordinary audience out there?
I have enjoyed podcasts very much.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Thank you. That's good. That's very good.
Thank you. It really means a lot. Maybe we could do a follow-up on how you and your... sorry, I don't know how to put it in. I don't want to put
gonad.
Gonad, is that a word?
Gonad. Yeah, sorry.
Gonad. Yeah, maybe we can do a follow-up on the gonad, extra gonad.
Yes.
Moving forward. But we'll keep in touch, not on the Spy Who Loves You, obviously, but we'll keep in touch moving forward. Thank you for joining us, Eugene. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Eugene. Thank you, Mr. Nikobolikov.
Good. Dos vidania. Dos vidania. Oh God, Eugene, thank you so much. That was, you can hear me giggling at the start. I was like a 10-year-old, Trev. We kept it together.
We'll thank you, Eugene. What we will actually say, we'll actually unmask Eugene now.
He's not going to thank us.
Eugene wasn't real.
Although somebody did. This is a testament to how good you were, Eugene.
Yeah.
Somebody said, where did you get the Russian guy from?
But it's my really close friend out of Bearded Villains, Wes Muir.
Yeah, well done.
Come on, he's always mimicking people, and he's very good at it. So we asked him to do it, and to be honest, that was all done in one take, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't know he was going to have the pauses in between.
He was actually, I think, if I remember, he was actually listening to like Russian interviews on YouTube, and he was quite nervous.
Yeah, he was.
But yeah,
he was great.
He was brilliant. Thanks,
one of my
Wes.
favourite moments, Wes. That was.
It was brilliant.
It made me laugh. I know I was laughing for days afterwards.
Yeah, he was.
As Wes, if you need anyone for voiceovers or something, Wes is your man for that
Wes
one.
is your man.
So,
Wes is your man.
Cheers, Wes. And then moving on to the podcast, Trev. Obviously, we've had 4 different seasons, all slightly different. We tried to reinvent it, didn't we? We started off with
we did.
about our own life and nostalgia and everything, and then we kind of moved on to the interviews, and we got some good guests over the times.
Yeah,
nothing
we did. Yeah.
More
very
different
guests as
very different guests. And
Very different.
talking of different guests, our first one we're going to talk about today was the 2 girls, Charlie and Nina, from the 2 Girls One Shot podcast. I don't think I've ever
changed the name of their podcast.
Oh,
I've noticed. Well, yes, I think it's called Sex something. I'm sure.
What a surprise!
Yeah. Do as you mean to go on.
Yeah, I bet it'd be interesting.
I haven't listened to it. Do it again. It's getting the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll just.
We talked about collaborating again at some point, so maybe we will come back for that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Listen,
you never know.
If you never heard that podcast, I mean, these girls, they say it as it is. I felt totally out from my comfort zone.
Give a shit. Did they?
No, they just say it exactly as it is. I had to edit some of it out. It was so, it was so skip.
Yes, it was.
But Trev was quite comfortable, and when I was listening back to it the other day,
I got into it.
I was so nervous when we were doing it. I can't remember any of it, but when I was playing it back, I was giggling to myself because you can tell we're totally out of our comfort zone. So
the funny thing is, we were sort of tiptoeing round it.
Yes,
and they were just like DM boot. In your groin.
Exactly.
That was the fact. Their new podcast now. It's not 2 Girls One Shop. It's Sex with Charlie and Nina.
Well, there you go. Is that an offer, or is it like I'm going to let the girls start their story?
What it
2
says
Girls
on
One
the tin.
Shopcast.
Can't be bad.
Charlie, listening to that one.
Welcome
to the show. But girls,
so we can
very
welcome
entertaining
Nina
and Charlie to
enjoy this
Midlife Less
introduction
podcast to 2 Girls One Shop, and we've got some other sections of this
from the
one.
2 Girls One Shop podcast. A bit different for us, a bit out of my own comfort zone. More in Trev's comfort zone, I would think.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. Like right in there, just kind of centered in the zone.
So can you just introduce yourselves, tell us how you know each other and what your podcast is about, please, girls?
Your names, take it away.
Oh, right. Well, I'm Nina.
Good evening, Luke.
And we work in a sex shop.
Ooh.
I know.
Are you acting like you didn't know, Trev?
Sorry, I thought you said. I thought it was that video game shop, CES. To be honest, sorry, we were going to talk about old school video games and stuff, but this could change now. Yeah, but no, you carry on. I'm glad you've come. I've glad you got here.
Good choice of words, Trev. Well done.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So we're 2 girls that work in one shop. Hence the name, 2 Girls One Shop.
Is one the boss, or are you just both sales assistants, or what's? Or is one in charge? Oh, right. Okay. Oh, right. You haven't got sections like, excuse me, where are the dildos? Aisle 3, down to the right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because, I just wondered if you had like a speciality, like,
Well, what are you after, Trev?
No, I'm not after anything. No, I'm just wondering what shelf I can hide behind. What part of the shop I'm kind of hidden.
Nowhere safe in there.
Oh, really?
So you work in this shop. Obviously, you work together. How long have you worked together?
15 years.
Wow.
15 years?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, you know each other as like Trev and myself do, which is and you're not at each other's throats like we usually are, but which is great.
Hate him.
Yeah, great. So you get what made you come up with the podcast? Why did you think that you need to get it out there?
Well, we do a podcast. I don't know if you listened to it, but there's a third person in it called Stu. So you recognise Stu from it. And he's basically like you two, completely embarrassed about the situation, but like delves deeper into like the questioning.
Oh.
So we'll start and then he'll be like, oh my God, what did they look like? So he's like the guy that sort of...
The link man.
The link man, but also
adds a dynamic, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's what people want to know the answers to. We're so like desensitized to it that we don't realise sometimes that we're missing out parts of stories that might be interesting to people because we're just like, oh yeah, then they bought that.
I suppose if you're doing it every day, it's just like selling another product, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I always compare it to like a loaf of bread.
Do you sell them as well or not?
No, we don't. But I always like, whenever people are like, oh my God, yeah, you girls work in a sex shop. I bet you're all into everything. And I was like, do you go into fucking Asda? And I'm like, oh yeah, go on the bread. Bet you're sucking right into the bread. Yeah. No, you don't.
Funny enough, he does.
I don't do that.
Yeah. Especially the ends of them, the knobbies. They're the bits I really like. They're my speciality. Really? Nobbies. What you're saying is you do actually sell a product called a nobby.
Yeah.
You do? What actually is it then?
Oh, they come in various different, like, really sort of sweet names, but really they are just fuck sticks.
I always thought Wayne was a fuck stick, but...
Trevor, that's the worst thing you've said on this podcast. You've gone off the rails. These ladies have been on here for 5 minutes and you've gone off the rails.
Influenced.
I've got a swear button on here, you know that.
Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry.
So yeah, because you girls are desensitized, obviously, to it. What we come across in your podcast was that basically, like the people that come in, and I'm seriously, I'm embarrassed to go in a shop like that. Not for any reason I've done anything wrong, but it's just, it's that stigma attached to it.
Did you steal from one once, Wayne? Then?
Oh yeah, because it was easier than paying for it at the counter. Yeah, no, I didn't.
He got patted down.
But no, that's what you go there for. Some of them. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, some of the people come in there, they've got no shame, have they, at all? From what you can tell from you,
it's madness, and people seem to act so different within our shop than they do like if they went to sort of like Marks and Spencer's. But obviously I know that the stuff that we sell is different to what Marks and Spencer's has, but there's still like a certain level of etiquette that should be like carried through.
They should be respectful, to you. Yeah. The best people to come in for you, for your, you can tell us if we're wrong, is the couples are coming in. Would they act
perhaps,
no? Oh,
no.
Tell us, please.
They're the worst.
Really?
Really? Yeah. They come in, right? They get all like touchy with each other, whispering with each other, like basically foreplay. Then they leave without buying anything.
Oh my God.
So do you think that
they got what they wanted?
Oh, you're joking.
But surely that's like free of charge. That's like going in a Chinese restaurant and just sniffing the air and then coming back out, isn't it?
Well, it's like going into your shop, Trev, where you're a manager of a tile shop, and they come and fit some tiles to the wall in your shop, and then just leave and say, "I've looked at them tiles now. I don't need to take them home."
Great, they look great. That's it. I'm out now.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
I know, but I think it really gets people in the mood. I don't know what it is because, like we say, we're so desensitized to it. So I don't walk in a sex shop and think, "Oh my fucking God, I cannot wait to have sex with someone now."
No.
I just am like, oh, here we are again.
Yeah, because that happens where I work. I get that, as Wayne was saying. People walk in a tile shop and they're like, I must tile. I have to tile now. And they just kind of run out with buckets.
So by now, Trev, you could tell I was right out of my comfort zone. I'm all over the place.
As I remember, isn't this where I unveiled your weekend fashion?
Yes, routine? Yes. And I didn't know what to say. Usually I have an answer for something.
Yeah, but the Flasher Mac.
That's the one. I'm going to play that bit, because, that was exactly, I was so out for my comfort zone. I didn't have an answer for anything. So I was just having to concede to Trev's greater knowledge in this one and just go along with it. So here's the infamous Flasher Mac part. So by now, Trev, you could tell I was right out of my comfort zone. I'm all over the place.
As I remember, isn't this where I unveiled your weekend fashion?
Yes,
routine?
yes. And I didn't know what to say. Usually I have an answer for something.
Yeah, but the Flasher Mac.
That's the one. I'm going to play that bit, because, that was exactly. I was so out for my comfort zone. I didn't have an answer for anything. So I was just having to concede to Trev's greater knowledge in this one and just go along with it. So here's the infamous Flasher Mac part.
Is that why when you're down the high street, people come up and ask you if you know where they are because you look like a pervert?
Well, I'm guessing so, yeah. It must be.
Is it that Flasher's Mac that you're completely naked?
Yeah, I was just going to say. I don't get all that. I do get obviously what they're doing.
To
obviously,
be honest, they're very practical, aren't they, Wayne? Just because they look weird.
Why are you asking me? I do not own such a device. but so after the Flasher Mac episode that I've now discarded of, that's in Oxfam if anyone's interested. Now we move on to a story that the girls told on their podcast and we'd heard, and we asked them to tell the story again. And it's all about jewellery, Trev. Do you remember that bit?
I do remember that bit. There's a certain fella from Lord of the Rings mentioned.
There is a few times that there's a certain hairy fella from Lord of the Rings mentioned. Is. So enjoy this kind of near the knuckle story from the Two Girls One Shop. One of the early ones you did was about some old guy who was about 80 or 90 and went in and he was looking at engagement rings. I think he was looking at. He was in the wrong shop, obviously.
Yeah,
but I couldn't believe how it ended.
Excuse me, is this H.M. Samuels?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not. Sorry. Better get out of here.
He was not in the market for some jewellery. I can tell you that.
Oh really?
He was. It's actually a really sweet story. I think it's one of my favourite ones.
It turned ugly though, didn't it? Pretty quick.
It always does.
It's a sort of story that makes your face contort. We won't tell anyone because we want them to listen, but it's a sort of story.
We can give them a brief, can't we? Give them a little taste.
Yeah, you tell them what you want.
You do what you want. You do what you want.
Go on, Charles. Give us a little brief introduction into the old gent.
Oh, well, the old gent, I described him as a Bruce Forsyth type guy with like a hat and a cane. And like nice shoes, like proper like get up, like old school, getting dressed up just to go out to town.
Pinstripes? Kind of guy. The pinstripes involved?
There was pinstripe, there was a watch, there was a monocle. Really? Everything. He was literally head to toe, pure and utter class. So he buys a cock ring, quite normal. Quite a lot of that's actually one of the things that I think people find quite surprising is like the age range of customers. That's like anyone over the age of 18, obviously.
Yeah.
So he's like at least 80, but I think he was more like 723. He was proper old.
Well, like what Gandalf style.
Yeah.
Cool. Like a dapper Gandalf. Yeah. That's cool. Brilliant.
Like a dapper Gandalf,
yeah.
Less pointy hat.
Mm-hmm.
So, he had the cane and everything. Yeah, he was like Gandalf. Good analogy. So he bought the cock ring. He obviously tried it on his massive staff.
Massive? How did you know it was massive? How did you know that?
Well, because I've seen Lord of the Rings.
Oh, right. That version, because I've got the extended cut and it doesn't go into. It doesn't. There's one point it doesn't go into how long Gandalf's staff is. But I must watch the extras. I must watch them now. Yeah. Sorry, carry on. Sorry, Charlie, carry on.
So he ends up coming back in the next day and he's like, "Oh, it didn't work." And I was like, "Oh no, sorry. Like, let me like check it out for you and swap it over." So he's unfolded this hanky that he's pulled out of his like top pocket of his like blazer. Like really slow. It feels like slow motion now that I'm thinking about it. So he slow-mos like unwrapping this cock ring.
To be honest, sorry, Charlie, if this is really kind of bringing back awful memories, do you want us to kind of just Oh, are you okay? Because I can see your eyes are getting a bit teary and stuff. Are you right? Yeah, see, look, you are.
This is like therapy. It actually makes me feel really good after that I've told people.
Good, I can imagine.
Yeah. A problem shared is a problem half.
So this slow motion of, let's call it the One Ring, falls, drops out of his hand into my hand, and it is not the same cock ring that I told him.
How did you know it was a different one?
Because it was about 100 years old, apparently, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, it was. I didn't recognise it, and I've worked there for a long time, but I would know if it's within the last 15 years of me being there, I'd know what it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was, so it was at least 15 years old.
Right.
Whatever, or maybe it was from somewhere else. It was decrepit. It had like,
it was powered by steam instead of battery, wasn't it, or something? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd expect it to be like cogs and cogs going round.
Not that I know if they are powered. Obviously, I wouldn't know anything about it. But
something like a De Toro movie.
Yeah.
You know, like Pan's Labyrinth, like with the clockwork. Sorry, Charlie. Go on, carry on. Sorry.
So I just wonder.
That's it. That was the whole.
That's the story. Yeah. So if you want to hear stories,
I was just staring at
it. Was it? So don't ever say that we don't give you revelations on this show, because the girls then tell us about the kind of people that visit the shop that they worked in. And there was one particular famous person that was doing a panto, was it, Trev? They were doing.
I think it was.
And he was behind them. Oh, no, sorry about that. But what
would you say he's most famous for?
Oh no, we mustn't mention it. This is why it's got a bleep during the clip that we're just about to play you. But we'll say that if you were around in the 80s, which you're guessing if you listen to A Midlife Less Ordinary, you probably were, and you knew somebody who had a cool black car and it could do things, and this guy went on to work as a lifeguard, then you're pretty close to who he is.
I think you've blown it there.
No, but I've not said his name, have I? I've not said the name.
No.
That's who they might have been talking about. But
big in Germany as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's big in below as well. But well, not that I know that. But yeah, that's basically giving away that. What can people expect from season 3 of Two Girls, One Shop?
More drama. There's also a celebrity.
Whoa.
Episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, mate.
What? You're not going to give us any teasers?
If you think people are bad, celebrities are worse.
Have you had many celebrities in your show? Have you had many in your show?
We've had a few.
To be honest, sorry, are they real celebrities, or are we talking Big Brother fuckwits? Oh, I've done it again.
Listen, once came into the shop.
Superb.
So you don't get more celebrity than that.
No, you don't.
But yeah, that's basically giving away that one. So that's that little mystery solved.
Yeah.
And then after the Two Girls, One Shop visited Trev, we had another lady on the show. And again, you know, get kind of flustered. We had Danny Thompson, the actress, model,
which
presenter.
Wasn't a horror story, was it?
It wasn't a horror story. It was a good episode, informative.
Yeah.
She's telling us about the film she's making, the film she's been part of. And some of the funniest parts of that episode were...
We tried to act quite innocent at one point. I think it was quite...
Because Danny's quite well known, quite famous.
Yeah, I think it was quite obvious that we were aware of her past.
Yes.
Although we tried to make out we didn't, which was very funny. But yeah, great guest, to be honest. Good insight to sort of independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
And she told us about her past working on Babe Station. Not that we knew what that was, Trev. And actually,
no, I thought it was a video game show.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah, you did. You actually mentioned that. And then also you mentioned how, because you know now that there's women running around with their boobs out, you're not going to watch any of these films anymore. Which I don't think she fell for any of it, Trev. To be honest, I don't think she fell for any of it.
No, it wasn't a convincing argument at all, was it?
So let's listen to a bit of the Danny Thompson interview. Welcome to this A Midlife Less Ordinary. And I have the Southend werebeast of podcasting waiting to come in.
Here I am. Is this because I've got a furry face?
It is. I'm sorry to be so stereotyped, Trev.
It's cute. I've got a cute face.
But there is a reason for it. There is a reason for it. There is a reason. I'm trying to keep it in keeping. Yep. You're the werebeast, Trev, and I'm Wayne.
Yep.
This is A Midlife Less Ordinary, as always. And this episode is entitled Indie Horror Movies with Danny Thompson. Now, Danny Thompson, funnily enough, is not a man.
Exactly. People would think, it's Danny Thompson. Yeah. It's a fella. It's not a fella.
No, it's not a fella.
It's not a fella.
It's not a fella. No, you can check that for yourselves. But Danny Thompson is the UK's premier screen princess. You try and say that after a glass of Stella. And she really is. She's in a prolific number of indie horror films, Trev. And
she is.
Obviously, we like our horror movies, don't we?
She's not just an actor, though, is she? Producer?
No, she isn't. She's a model, presenter, a writer, a blogger. This lady is busy.
This list is like toilet paper.
It is.
Could just go on and on and on.
I'm going to mention it to her. I'm going to mention it to her because it is really prolific. But if you look on, various places online, she would be classed as the UK's premier screen princess. She's a regular at the Horror on Sea, which is actually in our hometown, isn't it?
It is.
Which is a showcase for independent horror. Have you been to that, Trev? Haven't you, a few times?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been around.
Not as the werebeast, but
just
visiting.
Not ripped up clothes and ripped up jeans and like howling around corners and cocking my leg up after I've been to the bar.
That does happen.
Cocking my leg up. It does happen.
It does happen.
It does. Yeah, scratching around.
So we didn't hear anything from Danny in that clip there, but I just wanted to show you the part where we actually wanted to explain that Danny Thompson is a woman, not a man.
It's not a man. I don't know why we did that, to be honest. I really don't. I don't
it's
know
just part of A Midlife Less Ordinary humour, Trev, isn't it? I guess.
Was she, I don't know if I remember correctly, was she our first lady guest?
No, I think she was. Yes, she was.
Yes, she was.
She was. We're not doing this in order. Yeah, so
in order, no, but she was, wasn't she? She was the first lady guest we had.
You can tell we've never spoke to women before in our life.
Ever.
No.
Ever. Not just on here. Ever.
So, with no further ado, we're now going to show the introduction to Danny, and she's going to tell us what she does and gets up to and everything. So, Danny, take it away.
Really do.
So thanks for joining us today, Danny. Your CV, I could spend all night going on for your CV. You're model, actress, presenter, blogger. The list goes on and on and on. You have a prolific number of acting credits to your name. I think there's over 50. Mainly in the role as a screen princess, which I believe you're the UK's premier screen princess now. Would you say that's probably true, Danny?
Well, I have done a lot of horror, and I feel like I found my niche in horror, and I'm really happy sticking with the horror. So yeah, I mean, I think I labelled it because people were calling me screen queen. I was like, I don't think I've done enough to have that label. I don't think, I think I'm not worthy of it. I don't think I deserve it. So I was like, maybe a princess. I mean, yeah, now I have done a lot more. But still, I don't think as many as it looks like on IMDb, because sometimes things pop up and you're supposed to do something and then they don't happen and it doesn't, no one takes it down. So, I mean, don't necessarily go by IMDb. And I think until things are released, I just don't really say it. If I'm filming, I talk about them. But yeah, a lot of things kind of get put there and don't.
Well, the fact that people want to hire you to be the screen princess, if you like, shows that obviously people believe you fulfill that role. I
think it's great that Danny would do this kind of thing to be a screen princess, because there's not been one sort of English.
No, I was going to say there isn't,
ages. No. You've got to go back, I suppose, to like a lot of the old 70s stuff, haven't you? Really,
like Hammer.
I suppose. Do you get talking of like the location, like Bulgaria and stuff? Do you get a lot of inspiration from locations, Danny, or is it you have an idea, or do you look at that and think that's really cool? I could use that. Then it grows from there.
I mean, yeah, absolutely both. I mean, the first film I wrote, I don't know if you've seen this one, and if you haven't, don't bother. It's called Serial Caller. And I used to work on Babe Station many moons ago. And I was like, well, what if? And I think I was having a chat with one of the camera crew. I was like, what if there was like a serial killer and, because horror. For me, I love the slasher movies, and it's girls and it's boobs and it's it's
what's not to like?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like,
yeah,
this is
I must admit, I don't think I'd bother watching it now.
Oh yeah,
no.
Yeah, all right, true.
But this is the thing. I was like, well, this is a perfect setting, and who's better to write this than me, because I've worked.
You know what it's about, yeah.
Yeah, and so I wrote the original script, and
you are a woman, yeah, exactly.
I wrote the original script, and then I worked with a director who had different ideas, and then we got an investor who was a bit nuts, and he wrote himself into it, and he wrote some different scenes, and he took out some of the really good scenes, and I was kind of sneaking them back in, and we kind of had to compromise. He fully funded it. We all got really well paid. That's the best pay I've ever had doing any film. But Brilliant. We lost all the creative control. So this is what I'm saying. If you watch it, you just have to, like, if I watch it with you, I'd be literally pointing out, so that shouldn't have been like that, and this is how that should have been. And
what's that called, Danny? What's the name of the movie?
Serial Caller.
Serial Caller.
With a K.
Serial Caller.
I don't even know if it's on.
So I'm not sure if you lot believed out there that we'd never seen Babe Station in her life. I don't think she did anyway. No. She said about 3 times with girls running around with their boobs out. So remember that film, Serial Caller? That's one for the video collection, if that's what you like to see, obviously.
I think that
I can just watch myself in the mirror if I want to see boobs bouncing about this day and age.
That's Boob Station.
Boob Station, yeah. That
Boob Station. One of the good things with Danny was as well, she was like familiar with Southend and the area because of Horror on Sea.
Exactly.
That was a really cool thing. One of the funny things with that episode as well, and it's quite morbid, was your dad's wake was there.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
You made me
really
tell it.
Awkward.
Yeah, you could tell she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I was like trying to tell you a story, but
exactly. Yeah, she was so like, "I'm really sorry."
Trev's Wayne's got a funny story. I thought can I make up a story that isn't as macabre than this one? But
exactly.
So this is what happens on A Midlife Less Ordinary.
Yeah,
sometimes you're caught short, so to speak.
Yes, a lot.
So for the final section of Danny's interview, we kind of surprised with a talk about her favourite. I've done my research, you see, not on Babe Station. But I told her that I'd seen some other interviews of hers. That's 6 hours during the night, and we found out not really, Danny. And we found out that
pay-per-view.
Yeah, pay-per-view. And we found out that she obviously loves Alice in Wonderland. What am I talking about? Wizard of Oz. So she likes the Wizard of Oz.
Wheelies.
So we thought Wheelies. Yeah, that's right. And she mentions it. Yeah. So enjoy this last part of the interview with Danny Thompson. Danny, from what I could see in Bad Moon Rising, there's a little bit of yourself in the character, but obviously not the bits where you're getting X-Files and X-Factor mixed up. I'm not saying that, but which is quite funny. But there's some bits I've seen you say before that you're scared of spiders, and you put that in there.
Yeah, I did.
And
I think actually when I write characters, I feel like there's a little bit of me in all of them. And obviously the character, I like playing characters like Lucy, where, I mean, she's a bit of a prima donna and I like those kind of exaggerated characters to say I'm not really like that. But I feel like I think to write anybody, you have to kind of put yourself in their shoes whenever you're writing their dialogue.
It makes it more real, I suppose, doesn't it, kind of thing?
Yeah. So I mean, I hate spiders.
Well, one of the other things I noticed that you put into there, Danny, which I believe is true, is that your favourite film is The Wizard of Oz.
It is. It is. And if you notice, Lucy's phone has got a Wizard of Oz phone case.
Oh, I didn't.
It's those small details, see, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's those small details.
And I feel like I had a Wizard of Oz phone case for my character in Serial Caller as well. I actually don't have a Wizard of Oz phone case.
That could be your trademark, Danny.
It could.
Well, I think it is, to be fair. But I saw you
stumbled on something there.
I saw you eloquently describe, because obviously it's a bit of an oxymoron, like the Wizard of Oz and horror actress and everything. So but I've seen you eloquently describe how the Wizard of Oz can be considered a horror movie. Can you explain to Trev, Danny, how you put that across?
Yeah, because I'm struggling here, to be honest.
Yeah, you can't get it, but they put the gang together, don't they?
Yeah. Where did you see this? Because there is a quote from a newspaper which literally which hit the nail on the head. Well, it is. There's the flying monkeys. Don't tell me they're not terrifying. The witch is very scary.
Yeah.
It's something about. It's a film where a woman goes out to kill another one to exact revenge over a pair of shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is,
Something like that.
They
It's
put,
like,
put
I
a
mean,
gang together to go and to kill the other witch and everything else. Yeah, and I'd never thought of it like that. But then I could kind of see why you could be who you are.
I didn't make it up. I saw it, and it's a quote in a newspaper. I think I just changed it.
Used it for yourself. It's a good quote anyway.
I mean, it is. But the Wizard of Oz too, like the Return to Oz. Don't tell me that's not terrifying. The Wheelers and those Mombi heads.
Oh yeah, yes, they are. Yeah, that is pretty kind of.
There you go, Trev. You'll never see it the same.
No, the Michael Jackson remake, The Wiz, is quite terrifying just because it's so bad.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. Yeah, but
that's
yes, we won't go. Yeah. We won't go. Danny, actually, we weren't going to say beforehand, but what we do, we have a segment each week, and it's called Test the Guest. And we've chosen the subject of The Wizard of Oz because it's always a subject that's close to the guest's heart. Yeah. And what you do is you just take on Trev, and we just try and make Trev look silly, basically, because he's out of his comfort zone with it.
Oh, no, I'm being put on the spot.
Don't worry. I mean, we've had guests get 3 out of 3 wrong. It's not this. It's just a bit of fun. Will you be okay to take part?
None of them right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a go. It's only 3 questions each.
Oh, what if I look silly? Go on.
No, we won't do that. We'll edit it differently. We'll do it. We'll edit it.
You have to be really low to get worse than me. Really low.
We've got a little intro. Please don't be shocked when you hear this, Danny. Test the guest. We're going to test the guest. We're going to test the guest. We're going to test the guest. Test the guest. That's sorry about that. That's a throwback to Reeves and Mortimer kind of era.
Danny will probably hear that now and write a next script.
Yeah, probably will. Have you for ages.
Yeah, it'll be just that on the phone, like in Scream where Drew Barrymore picks it up, and that's what will come on the phone. You'd be like, just.
Well, we had a guest thought that I was doing that live, didn't they?
I'm going to write a scene in the next film where you two are like interviewing the character or something.
Yeah, exactly. It does freak people out, but
yeah, it does.
So we got 6 questions. The first question's to you, Danny, and it's so for our next episode that we're revisiting, shall we say. We thought it would be quite funny to revisit all about Subbuteo with Sean Allison, who's very knowledgeable about Subbuteo, still playing it to a good level. And he told us all about the world's greatest player who actually got to play at one time, Trev, didn't he? Eric Verhagen, was it? Verhagen.
Yeah.
And what a flashy git he was.
Just like to say before this clip, I have nothing against the Dutch. I quite like the Dutch.
Yeah.
Even though I did come across like I wanted to beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah. If he has been beaten, that wasn't Trev. Trav,
no,
or whatever his name is now.
Yeah, Trev, or whatever my name is now. I didn't do it. He just sounded like I wanted to. So it's not.
Enjoy this first part of the Sean Allison Flick My Ball All About Subbuteo episode.
And at that point, actually, I also got to play the number 1 player in the world, who was, at that time, he was a Dutch fella called Eric Verhagen. And now, I mean, at that time, all he did was play Subbuteo, and he was probably in his mid to late 20s then, and he had sponsorship and everything. And it was at the London... It was in the London International Tournament, and I was drawn against him. And, I mean, he was a completely... different level. So much so that he
really
played me. Oh yeah. He's right-handed, and he played me left-handed, and he beat me 13-0.
So he's like the Ronnie O'Sullivan of the Subbuteo.
Show off.
Yeah.
Show off.
Exactly. I mean, I
would have wanted to punch him for that.
yeah.
That's real low. That is low. That's
a bit of a low blow.
That's like show. Did you know? Yeah, did you know that he was going to play you left-handed?
No.
Oh, right. Because for some reason, now when you say about the tournaments and stuff like, I got this feeling of like it was like the Cobra Kai tournament. Everyone's
the Hill Valley tournament, all Valley karate.
Hill Valley. That's the word. Yeah, that's how I was looking, as though like he's the man to beat. Like kind of break one of his players, sweep the player, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's how. That's low.
Did he actually beat you, Sean, or did you put him in his place?
He absolutely annihilated me, Wayne. He beat me 13-0.
Don't make him relieve it again.
Yeah,
I think we're long enough ago to move on a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah, I suppose. Are you over it now, Sean?
No,
I'm still in therapy. Oh, sorry, I apologise. Yes,
and frankly, Wayne, you're not helping. To be honest.
No, thank you. I feel bad. I'm going quiet again now. Yeah, don't worry.
were you still in the game at half time, or that your goose was cooked, kind of thing?
No. I think he was about 9-0 up at half time, and after that, just kind of.
You didn't want to come out for the second half, did you?
Respectable in the second half.
I think actually
feign injury.
At one point in the second half, during one of my attacks, he stopped and had a chat with his mate.
He's just rubbing it in.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, he was.
This sounds awful.
Terrible.
I was trying to encourage people to take it up. I don't know if anyone's going to want to take it up after this.
Yeah.
I was a broken man after that.
Does this guy still play now? Yeah, I bet you were. Does this guy still play now?
I don't know. I think he probably is.
I'm going to have to Google him once we've finished.
Yeah,
and then we're going to have to look for him and do him over or something. But
he was very, very
I'll
good.
send him hate mail, don't worry.
Yeah.
He was actually
good.
Then after Trev saying that he's going to beat up all the Dutch and take them all on, he suggested that most Subbuteo players in the 1970s and 80s had a different pastime, didn't you, Trev?
I did, yes.
So shall we take a little listen to that and see what you suggested?
Well, it was obvious when it was always going to come out.
It always come out. So here we go. Enjoy.
I think there was some stat, I can't remember what it was, but towards the end of the 70s, early 80s, I think it was something like 90% of boys in between the ages of 10 and 13 had a Subbuteo set. Now, so that would mean there's a huge number out there.
Obviously, it was before they found their penises, because obviously.
Oh dear, here we go. Right, sorry about this, Sean. Yeah.
Obviously, you'd be.
Now you know what I have to put up with.
Yeah. Sorry.
You did warn me about this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
He's done so well.
Lucky I put us in the explicit section on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
So for the next choice, Trev, we've picked out the Antique Bottle Collecting with Paul Cunningham, who kindly joined us, and it was a very humorous episode, and it's the one that BBC Essex chose to play on their BBC Sounds podcast evening, wasn't it, Trev?
It was. Some of this, when I listened back to this one, some of this, I'd probably say, as much as I've enjoyed all of it, some of this one was some of our best work, I think. I don't know why. It just clicked. There was a lot of banter going on. It just really kind of about a subject that is so bizarre.
Exactly.
As well. That's the weird thing. Some of the subjects we've approached on this are just like so different. And that one, at first I thought, what are we going to do with this?
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's a really interesting
and you
one.
learn a lot from that episode as well.
So much about it,
doesn't
he?
Yeah,
Paul knows so much about it. It sounded like that Wayne and I were at each other's throats for the whole 45 minutes, which is funny. Honestly, this is
a very funny part, and it's as I say, which we're going to play later, but Rob Jelly from the BBC Essex found it highly amusing.
Picked up on us for that, which was good.
And said that it's a good way to do a podcast. And
it was our radio debut, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And that was good fun.
It was our radio debut. It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Enjoy Antique Bottle Collecting with Paul Cunningham.
Pictures in there, all of them are really sort of colourful and like different shapes. Is that what a lot of collectors go for? Because there's blues, there's browns. And why did the colours really signify anything? Like, was like a lemony drink blue, and am I thinking a bit too advanced for then? I don't know.
No, you're not. I mean, poison bottles were always either green or blue.
Right.
And so that would be a way of identifying them. And they also put ribs on them, so if anyone was had poor eyesight, or as in many Victorian homes, or the lighting was poor, so no one got up in the middle of the night and had a swig out of a rat poison bottle, because it was not only would it.
Am I being stupid in saying
did have ribs on it?
Did they have? Am I being silly in saying that they might have had a skull and crossbones cut into them or something?
Oh, here we go.
What?
Basics. What? Basic. Jesus.
I've seen that in.
Paul's obviously a really intelligent man, and you're just saying like, oh look, don't touch that because it's got. They're not pirates, Wayne. They're not pirates, are they? Let's be honest.
Well, they might.
Well, Trevor, I'm afraid you're wrong. Wayne's obviously been doing his research.
Right. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, I was just waiting for that. Yeah, thanks, Paul.
You're not coming on again, Paul. You're not.
So after Antique Bottle Collecting, we took on Artist with Andy Downs from the Little Known Studio, Trev, who's been on more than once, and
he has,
the altruistic Mr. Andy Downs, who's the artist Don of the Southend area.
The cool thing about that is Andy's got loads of things going on.
Yes.
We've said on our social media, on our Instagram thing, that he's doing another little art gallery in Victoria Circus at the moment.
That's right.
Which I visited and was really, really cool. Again, Andy, the good thing with this episode was that we really wanted to give something back to our hometown, didn't we, really?
Yeah, exactly. And Andy does that and comes across well.
Andy, art-wise, the whole thing seems to be revolving round him, which is nice. I'm not putting anybody else down. I hadn't met
Andy up until this time, had I? I'd even spoke to him. So
I'd known Andy.
He must have wondered what was going on when we kept doing all these, saying all these things, me and you arguing, bantering and going on. But this actually, what this also highlights is the importance of the segment in our podcast.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And it does highlight that as well, which is very funny. If you know them.
The importance of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You'll notice that during this segment. But the importance of Test the Guest and Test Trev, that was for it. Trev, when we first started the podcast, wasn't keen on doing a quiz section because he thought it would make him look silly or something. But
an easy thing to do without me having to answer questions.
That's probably why. But it was always people's one of their favourite parts of the show because they joined in.
That was bizarre. We just chucked it in there and it took a life of its own, didn't it?
It did. People singing the theme tune to us in the street and things like that. It freaked me out.
It is just bizarre.
That's
it was
the next best thing to being famous. Yeah.
It was something we just threw in and it just took off, didn't it?
It is.
Like the little intro. Have a listen.
A lot of work went into it because I did it to actually have to put the questions together and I wanted to make it humorous at times. And this was one of my favourite Test the Guest, this one was.
It was.
So please enjoy this next Test the Guest segment with Andy Downs from the Little Known Studio.
Stuff.
So the first question to you, Andy, if you don't mind.
Go on.
Name the artist famed for painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling. Do you want the options?
Yeah, go on.
It can be Leonardo, it can be Raphael, it could be Donatello, or it could be Michelangelo.
I'm going to go with Michelangelo.
I just love it because it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was expecting another one. I was expecting Fred Dibner to come up.
He's about trains, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know what he's about.
Well done, Andy. You did.
Well done, Andy.
Yeah. So next one for you, Trev. Let's hope you get this wrong.
Here we go. This is really hard.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
14th century impression.
No, I'm not like that. That's you. My bed. Not literally my bed. My bed was exhibited at the Tate Gallery in 1999 and consisted of a bed with bedroom objects in an abject state. Who was the artist? Do you want the options?
Yes, please.
Was it Bob Carroll-Geese, Tony Hart, Richard Constable, or Tracy Emin?
Tracy Emin. It's got to be surely.
No, it's Bob Carroll-Geese.
Yeah, I wanted it to be Bob Carroll-Geese. I wanted to...
It would have been shocking if I weren't familiar, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
With those people. I've been Bob Carroll-Geese. It would have been like a real horrible silence. Like, oh my God.
No, I would have gone... It would have gone like that. So, next question to you, Andy. The Tate is a network of 4 art museums. 2 are based in London. Give the other 2 English locations. Is it Bristol and Gloucester, Manchester and Leeds, Lincoln and Birmingham, or Liverpool and St Ives in Cornwall?
Liverpool, St Ives.
Oh, this man knows his stuff.
Wayne,
yes?
Bristol and Gloucester, is that like a make of pickle? Or did you just...
No, they're real places, Trevor. I know you've never left Southend ever in your whole life, but they really exist.
Places. I just thought you might have put them together and they sounded like you got them off of a pickle jar or something, but obviously not.
You thought it was a building society or something, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say that, insurance company,
yeah. Andy's got his money. All the money from his paintings are in the Bristol and Gloucester. That's what it is. Earning interest.
That would be a good name for one. Yeah,
it would be,
Bristol and Gloucester.
Or pub. No,
you just like the word Bristol, really, but it's
unfortunately, I've always been a big fan of Bristol.
Yeah, there we go. There it goes. The money shot's right there.
The Bristols, yeah.
right. So, next one to you, Trev. We're not going to forget it's your turn. So, apart from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in that segment, did you pick up on a famous 80s icon, Bob Carroll cheese, as well?
That was one of the best bits. It was just amazing.
Oh, so funny.
That was something else.
To be fair, even the musicians and the quite famous ones that joined in were happy to do Test the Guest, weren't they, Trev?
It did. It took, as I said just now, it took its own life of its own, didn't it?
Yeah.
It really did. It was just so bizarre how kind of it did its job. It was something that was just kind of, and the funny thing is, for something that I wasn't keen on doing at the first, I actually quite looked forward to it.
In the end, yeah.
I did. I did.
It was good.
It was one of the best things about it. It really was.
I'm going to just play the theme tune once more, Trev, because, people were quite shocked when we played it, the ones who didn't know us, weren't they? Who hadn't listened to the show before.
Very much so.
I don't know why, but this was me in my Aled Jones voice. Test the guest, we're going to test the guest, we're going to test the guest, we're going to test the guest. Test the guest. So there you go. Never to be heard again, apart from on these 50 podcasts. But
this is it. I dare say we will.
It will make
do
a
something
comeback
with it. It's not something that's going to be, But so
we got a guest.
Talking of Andy.
Oh, sorry.
Very quickly, the art gallery in Victoria Circus that they've just opened for 6 weeks. Definitely go and check that out. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that, Trev. So our next guest, there's a bit of a story to this one. Trev contacted some quite big musicians in America to come on the podcast. And Christopher Shane was one of them that he contacted. Yeah. Christopher Shane, a Southern rocker, very entertaining man. Watched some of his videos, the Christopher Shane band.
Great performer, good music.
He came back to us and said he'll be on the podcast. Now, this is not Trev's forte, time differences.
No, setting stuff up wasn't great, was it? It really wasn't.
Don't leave Trev for time differences, because I think we said you'd arranged with him to come on at 8 p.m. like UK time.
That was right. And we were still sitting there about midnight.
Well, yeah. Well, basically, yeah. What happened was we were sitting there and he didn't turn up. So we thought, he's just let us down. So Trevor and myself, we were
drinking, weren't we?
We were drinking very heavily. Yeah. And we were playing old spitting image clips across the airwaves and just laughing our head off, all unpolitically correct stuff. And all of a sudden, about 1 o'clock in the morning, when really usually
there's a Zoom call,
it just
video
ping.
Call.
It's just ping. He just joined us, and it's because obviously there's a 5-hour time delay.
There's
a delay.
By
it's a difference.
By this time we were both pissed off.
I was pissed at my head. And Trev, we didn't even have any questions. Trev just went off. He actually handled it really well, but he forgot I was there. I just spoke to him for about 20 minutes.
I just spoke at Chris about Southern rock and heavy rock solidly for about 30 minutes before I had a breath.
And then Trev just goes, Wayne, it's time to you, Trev. And you can tell, I'm like, no.
I sounded like I had a problem, as though I was like mentally deranged, as though I was just kind of like that kid of that one of I Am Sam's mates, where he just kind of reels off all this
green
stupid
eggs and
information.
Ham. I am Sam.
It was just bizarre. But Chris was brilliant, wasn't he?
He really took it really well, because Trev was talking at him and then he passed on to me, and I just sounded like I've been out for a drink with Ollie Reed, because I could hardly speak. And I've been sitting there for half an hour listening to Trev, thinking I could just go to sleep, So I'd listen, and then Trev just brings me in all of a sudden. So he listened to this struggle now.
The test the guest bit was really good.
Oh, we're not playing this bit, but the
Chris
test
wasn't.
Yeah,
Trev wasn't sure about it. No, he beat me in the end.
No, yeah, but only yes. But let's be honest, you probably could have won.
I might have thrown one of the questions. or two.
We didn't want to beat him because it sounded awful trying to beat
exactly. We try not to the idea was to just cane me, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As we said before, but sometimes But yeah, honestly, that was a cool interview.
It was
really
very interesting. Listen to this part where Trev's just chatting away to him, and then he brings me in, and you can tell basically it's 1:30 in the morning, and we've had
you were just staring out the window.
I was just staring out the window. So listen for yourselves. Here we go.
Sort of the Cadillac 3, Blackberry, all these kind of bands. I was seeing stuff coming up on social media.
Yeah.
And you came up, and I was like, oh, and I even though I've been listening to music since I was like 7 and 8.
Yeah.
New music, if I get a snippet of it and it gets in, then I've got to know about it.
Right.
And listening to your stuff as well, one of the best things about it, in my opinion, is it's such kind of good time beer rock.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That Give a Damn tune is just like anthemic. It's just like,
thank you, man.
You can just imagine like a festival and you guys opening with it, and people's heads would just turn and the fists would go up. And there's nothing like that. That's the thing about that kind of music. And I think it's so cool that it's come back into vogue. It's not just shoe staring anymore. Don't get me wrong. No. That grunge was great. There was brilliant bands in that grunge era. But to actually kind of have a front man that's kind of rocking it out, and that's like with Airborne and all those bands. You want that now. You want what we've been through with all this kind of lockdown and stuff. You want to hear good time rock music.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing you're doing, which is amazing.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, we are, I try to keep everything like focused on, obviously we want to put on a good show and everything like that, but like, we want to make sure that everybody who is at the show is having a good time, because I did a lot of entertainment stuff and everything like that. And so I really try to focus on the crowd. What is the crowd into? What are we, and pointing it out and acknowledging it, like making sure that we are all in every single thing together is a big thing for me, because, I've been to those shows where you feel so disconnected from like what's happening on stage, and it's cool from like a fishbowl perspective, but there's something about knowing that everybody is in there going for the same thing. And especially when you're at a concert, it's to put aside all of the BS and everything that you went through in the week, the day, whatever it is.
And it's just to forget about everything.
Yeah. I'm just here,
Escapism.
Exactly. So I like to embrace that and take that and just say, we're all here. We're all here to help each other. We're all here to make sure everybody's having a good time. Yeah. And that's all there is to it.
Definitely.
Yeah, that is rock and roll though, isn't it? You are doing it, Chris. You really. Yeah. Did you want to say something, Wayne? Sorry, I've been gabbering on about
no. I've had it interesting. I'm loving it. Yeah, no, it's all great. Chris, I just wanted to say, like, I read that obviously you hosted your skills as a showman, because that's a big part of your act, obviously, and what you do as a karaoke host. You love Aerosmith.
I didn't know this is
sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'll just. And how important? I mean, obviously it's important, but how much importance do you put on that side of it? There's an entertainer and a showman as well as a musician.
I mean, I think it's. The albums are like the albums, right? If you want to hear crystallized versions of the music and everything like that, you go to the record. If you are going to a show, I expect that you're going there for some kind of entertainment. So I think live wise, I put way more energy into making sure that the show is fun and energetic and everything's going on. Because I've been to those shows where everybody gets sick or, whatever. Sometimes you had a little too much fun the night before and hey, this is what I'm able to do.
We don't know that
right
feeling,
now.
Chris. We don't know.
Yeah. We're not familiar with this, Chris.
Yeah. No.
He says take another stick out of his drink.
Exactly. Right. And it's just like, I think when you go to a show, you want some form of entertainment. And I think the best feeling for that entertainment, that best energy and that best vibe is when you feel lockstep with the people who are performing for you and the people who are performing with you, and that's why we try to put this into the show as much as we can, but we love our crowd participation moments. We love I check in pretty often, in the middle of songs. In fact, that's one thing that, cause we just got our new drummer and I had to program into him. I had to say like, all right, you are just going to go and vamp on this part until I give you the cue to continue the rest of the song. So, we bake a lot of that stuff in there because, I think, and I think of like Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses and those kind of bands. There was always that excitement there from the real people playing it in front of you. And there's always that little bit of tinge of it, like almost could fall apart at any moment. Like you can really tell,
Yeah, that's rock and roll, isn't it?
Yeah, that's rock and roll.
You never knew what the next sort of, even going back to Jerry Lee Lewis and stuff, you didn't know what he was going to do next. That is part of it. Yeah.
I think I don't rehearse my speeches. I don't do anything like that. So, which has gotten me in trouble a couple of times and probably will in the future.
Talking of getting you in trouble, Chris, we have a segment every week on the show, which is just a bit of fun, which is called Test the Guest, and it's usually a subject that the guest is passionate about. Obviously, it's about, and we've chosen Southern rock because obviously that is what you're passionate about. Funny enough, it's just a bit of fun. Funny enough, usually Trevor gets trounced in this, but he's actually quite au fait with this because this is his specialist subject. So this would be a bit of a contest. So because he's been around a while, like myself, we're getting on a bit. So. But it's just a bit of fun. Are you okay to take part in that, Chris?
Yeah, sure. I'm horrible with names, dates, and places, so let's do it.
Oh, good stuff.
You'll be cool, man. You'll be good with it.
Brilliant.
Great.
Right. Could you tell that we'd been drinking there? I bet you could. It's just a bit.
We couldn't smell us because the alcohol was
God, it was set fire, to set fire to him like a dragon. But and then Trev dropped it on me. I've been telling him things about Christopher Shane earlier in the evening, and I was saying these stories about his mum taking him to a concert before he was even born. So Trev thought he'd bring this up.
The room.
And you could, in the womb. And and it was Trev was, and obviously Trev's trying to be discreet in the way he's trying to put this question to him, and he's calling a baby that's not born yet a pre-born or something, and it's something like that. It's just really funny. It's just, but he took it all in good. He loved it.
And
brilliant. When he finished,
it was one of the best heavy metal stories ever.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And he said to us, after he finished, he said, "You guys," he said, "when I come to the UK," he said, "you're the first people I'm going to look up to come out." So goes to show we can do it sober or pissed. It doesn't matter. Really.
Yeah, just look it up in the yellow pages. It's not one anymore. Couple of cunts, and you'll find us.
Oh dear, that's about as blue as you've got during this trip. You're like the Jim Davison of the podcast world.
Well, it's one of the last ones. I don't care.
So enjoy this last segment of the Christopher Shane.
Yeah, I got it. Let's do it.
Brilliant. Yeah. Very quickly to sort of sum up. Wayne was telling me earlier on, and I don't know if it is true, it's probably one of the most coolest heavy metal stories I've ever heard.
Oh, okay.
But you were actually in the room with your mum. You're not going to say that, didn't you? I can see you know exactly going to say a Motley Crue gig.
Oh, yeah.
That outdoes like the heavy metal parking lot film that Judas Priest did, doesn't it?
Right.
Because when Wayne told me about that, I was like, that's like the most coolest heavy metal story that you could ever sort of have as a pre-born, if that makes sense.
That was pre-born.
That's a new word.
That's just like, just kind of like metal in the room straight away. You were just played it in there, you know.
I heard it in there. Apparently I was kicking a lot, so either I was really into it or not, but I'm going to lean on the into it thing, just given how things worked out. But
so which one of your parents let you know about that? Or did they both just say, son, You
that was
gig.
Oh no, that was my mom all day. Are you kidding me?
Right,
She's
okay.
That's badge of honor proudness right there. So she and you know, I grew up around those hair metal type bands and everything like that, and that's why I took a liking to like Aerosmith and those kind of guys.
Yeah, sure.
And so, but yeah, she's kind of the reason that I'm now in rock or whatever this is, and yeah.
Brilliant.
True story.
Superb. Great stuff. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
been
Please come to the UK as soon as everything's back to normal, Chris. We're looking forward to seeing you.
As soon as we can ensure that it's going to happen, I'll let you guys know for sure.
Top man. And well done for beating Trev in his specialist subject on Test the Cats.
I win.
Good stuff.
Honestly, now, Chris, now you can tell that Motley Crue story to people and you can follow it up and said, I think some limey from the UK absolutely trounced him in a Southern rock competition.
There we go.
That's the next badge of honor you've got, man.
I'll add it to my whiteboard right there. Exactly. Write it up there. Accomplishments.
Top man.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for coming on, Chris. We really enjoyed talking to you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
See you later.
Right. See you later. Ta-da.
Take care.
Bye. So now we go away from the interview podcasts and we go right to the number one podcast we released, and we'd planned this for a long time. Yeah, the first one we did. And we had to do Star Wars. So we called it "Help Me Cool Older Dudes. You're My Only Hope." Hope you get that. And basically, we had a lot of listeners for this one who tuned in that weekend, didn't we, Trev?
Yeah, we did.
All expecting us to say nice things about Star Wars, and
we just caned it. Absolutely caned it.
We did, and I think we're talking about the prequels here, but here's a little taste of how that one went.
And they're just pretty bad.
Yeah,
to be honest, they really are.
Too many effects, not enough soul.
Too many effects, and to be the kid that plays Anakin, the young Anakin, is just like
annoying.
He's come off a High School Musical.
Yeah,
he was just like what, like, and Sebulba and that. Yeah, sorry, I can barely watch them now when they're on TV.
No, and you can see that when it come to the second one, which was Attack of the Clones, which sounds like some kind of
and again, what were the robots?
Anal disease, but they tried to add loads of Jedi to make it cool. Exactly, you can get
cream for your clothes.
They tried to make that one cool by having loads of Jedi everywhere.
I tell you what, I'll say 2 words to you and tell me what you think.
Yeah, go on.
Roger.
Yeah, Roger.
What is that?
Not the BBC television comedy from the 90s.
No, that's about taxis.
That's probably better, to be honest. But
it's probably well scripted and better wrote.
Yeah. And then we thought we'd cane the actors as well. So Hayden Christensen gets a right caning, as long with his
exactly
with his Frankenstein acting, wasn't it, Trev? No.
Yes, it was woodenness.
Yes,
I remember you mentioning, which was really funny, and a lot. If you're as old as us, the Roger bit.
Oh, Roger, yeah. We said about taxi.
About the taxi, the taxi program from back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad, to be honest. The good thing about doing that as the first one, it was like exercising a demon.
It was.
Because we really couldn't stand the prequels and stuff, and we still don't. Yeah. So it was nice to get it out there for people to know.
But I know we upset people we know who just love Star Wars, whatever it is. Somebody could poop out a bit of crap and call it Star Wars, and they would love it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, this is it. Yeah,
unfortunate.
And I still stand to the opinion, just because it's Star Wars doesn't make it cool.
Yeah, I'm with that opinion as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good that we brought this to the world, Trev, wouldn't it?
I'd like to think so, because I'd like to think there's a lot of people our age that think the same as us. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because again, like with the new ones, the new TV shows and that, it just feels like it's gone now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The thing is, to me, it's more badness than good stuff. Where back in the day it was more
just
there was
rushing
the odd
stuff
bit
out, I think, now, and just running out of ideas.
Well, the funny thing is, and I think we mentioned this on the first episode, the only thing that I just sort of disliked about the entire 3 of the first ones, the originals, was the Ewoks, and I didn't hate them, but I just well, like, you know, if you've heard the clip and you've heard the podcast, the first one, like many people did, which we're very grateful that we had a good listening for our first one. But yeah,
we still love Star Wars as a whole, don't we? We just don't like all this cashing in stuff, with it.
Well, the trouble is, it's getting like the Marvel thing, the Marvel universe. DC not as much, but they're just rinsing this sponge that's going dry. It's just money, and I understand that things have got, but it's lacking ideas and focus to me. Yeah. It really is. It's kind of, and I tell you, one of the very, very quickly, and I didn't know this, but I noticed on the halftime trailers for the Super Bowl, they had the new Doctor Strange one, the second one.
Yeah.
And Sam Raimi's directed it.
Yeah.
How shocking is that? I didn't know that. Yeah. I was like, Jesus Christ, he hasn't gone back. That's amazing. So that means I'll see it straight away.
Yeah.
That's the thing,
you know what to expect as well, don't you? But,
exactly. Yeah.
But talking of all that, just to follow up on that, here's us talking about Hayden Christensen and
his crap
Ewan McGregor doing not very good in these films.
They are. They're very wooden. The acting's wooden. Nothing.
Yeah. Even
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden very.
Isn't
wooden.
a great actor, I'm afraid.
No.
I know he's going to reprise his role, isn't he? For the Ben Kenobi thing with Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. As well. I mean, him as well. I mean, he was good as you could. He was a good replacement for Alec Guinness.
Do you remember when he said that?
Take the high ground, Anakin. I'm taking the high ground. No.
And of course, and the other classic is no.
Oh God, that is awful, isn't it? The end.
Exactly. He's walking like Frankenstein. What's that about? Sorry.
Yeah. And then we thought we'd just cane Yoda as well, just for the fun of it.
It breaks my heart. But honestly, they just, again, like Boba Fett, they just fucking ruined him, didn't they?
Now he's got a baby, he's even worse.
Oh, even fucking worse. Honestly, the thing is as well with this Yoda thing, it reminds me, and I think there was a meme of it, but who's Mrs. Yoda now?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, is he going to be like the female gremlin, the hooker one? Because that's what it's going to look like, isn't it?
It's going to be great.
Like she's going to have, like Yoda's like brown beige, like thing, slightly off the shoulder number, trying to look sexy.
I think
isn't
it meant to be like an immaculate conception or something, like a Jesus kind of figure?
Fucking really?
I don't.
Jesus.
I don't know why I'm dissecting that. Let's not do a Star Wars thing.
Fuck me! Don't you write any scripts for it either?
Me and Jon Favreau like that. We're just like that.
Yeah.
We got it going on.
Oh fuck yeah! Boy, but fuck me, that's
enjoyed Trev celebrating Yoda and his athleticism during the prequels.
Funky fighting.
And also the amount of how many Jedis could we chuck in to just make it look cool?
To make it look cool, yeah.
So enjoy this last part of the Help Me Cool Loader Do's, You're My Only Hope.
And so he had kind of like a tie to, obviously he must have been a fan like we are, because I think we're similar ages to you and McGregor, aren't we?
The same, yeah, we are the same.
So if he wants to listen to this,
I am him, actually,
yeah. We're actually two different people. We're just masking this up.
Yes.
So people will listen to
so we can hear what they really thought about.
Exactly. So we're not living off our kind of past glories.
We're not living off any glories, unfortunately.
Well, no, which is true. It's about getting glories back.
We're getting them back.
But he said that he was really excited to pick his own lightsaber, and I thought that sounds great.
Yeah.
And then there was talk. Obviously, you had Mace Windu in it, who was Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, so he's got to be cool.
Oh, this is it.
The Godfather of cool.
Exactly. And then, like, I remember watching a YouTube clip of some guy had filmed, and it wasn't the first one. I can't remember which one it is. He put me right. But the first time you saw Yoda fighting,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
All these Americans were like cheering in the cinema and stuff, and he just looked like a green gnat bouncing about on the screen.
I thought he'd be a lot cooler than that. Yeah,
and I was like, because I don't think Yoda should particularly fight. He's too wise and too epic to fight. He doesn't need to use.
And how did he? I know he lives for a long time. How did he deteriorate that quickly between? Between the sequel, 30 years, and in the grand scale of his life, he'd gone from doing Sonic the Hedgehog impressions in his fighting to hardly bring any energy to help out Luke Skywalker when he's training on his planet. It
just worked.
It's just trying to make things cool, which aren't, and you should have left them where they were, and you would have got.
And then obviously you had Jango Fett.
Yeah,
a guy, Boba Fett to us when we were kids.
had so much mystery about him.
Yeah.
So much mystery, because the figure was sort of banned because it had a flying rocket out of its back and re-released. I think Boba Fett came out as a figure before you had even seen him.
He was cooler when he had an English accent, and so that kind of sums up on the episodes. We could have picked so many more. I'd like to have played clips of all 50 of them, to be honest. But
all of them.
That just gives you a taste. If you've missed any of them, you'll go back and listen to them episodes, because they've all got something to offer.
We could have mentioned everyone. Everyone had their place, didn't they?
Yeah,
they really did.
Exactly.
All the guests were brilliant. They were good sports. They were informative. The whole thing. Honestly,
let's give them a roll call, Trev. Let's run through. A quick memory of everyone that's taken part. So all the people that joined us on the podcast, all our guests from the cool blues rock duo from Halifax, the Hazy Janes, they're doing well. We're going to see them in April, Trev, aren't we?
We are, we are.
In London, doing well, lads. Keep it going. Thank you. John Bartlett and his motorcycle knowledge. That episode did well. Thanks, John. That was a great episode.
Cole on the Harleys.
Richard Alloy and his insight into the life of an actor. That one did well. Got loads of comments on social media for that one.
Yeah, very good. Richard's still going and he's still doing stuff.
Still doing bits in films. Yeah. Sean, who we've played a part in this episode. Sean Allison, who's told us about Sabutio. Gary Perks and his knowledge of the game of chess, and Terry Marsh.
Yes. Terry Marsh. I forgot Terry Marsh. Yeah.
The Cold Stairs, who we've already mentioned, are now rocking it big worldwide, thanks to Chris Tapp for joining us.
Now
got a three-piece now, not a two-piece.
Three-piece, not two,
we've mentioned already the talented and altruistic Andy Downs and his little-known studio and its new premises opening. Big year for Andy coming up. Martin, who didn't want to be known as anything else but Martin, who taught us all about the world of vaping. That was the one who told you he's not allowed to. Martin the Vapor, who didn't want to talk about his police career.
Like a smoke screen.
Yes.
A smoke screen for Martin.
Told Trevor off, and we left it in just for the fun of it.
Just for
Paul Cunningham and his insights into antique bottle collecting.
His poison bottle collection.
His poison bottle collecting, Danny Thompson, who we've played the parts of, very entertaining. Thanks, Danny.
Screen Queen, as she's known.
Screen Princess, she likes to be known. But she's a Screen Queen.
Yeah.
Cole Porter and your cycling knowledge. Thanks, Cole, for joining us.
Tight lycra,
you left us saddle sore.
It exposed my lycra fetish, didn't it, live? Which was nice.
Thanks to Rocky Free and Rocky Marciano Glenn and his raging bull insights in teaching us boxing.
Yeah, when we were going to get in the ring and batter each other, weren't we, at one point? But that's still what happened at some point.
I reckon that will just happen just out of osmosis.
Just pure frustration.
Pure
frustration.
Singer-songwriter Harrison Rimmer, who appears to be doing well with his music.
That's a good episode. He's acoustic noodlings, which is cool.
Noodlings.
You know? Noodlings.
Christopher Shane, who we just mentioned, is a great sport in that. Considering he got the limey humour. That's what you said in that, wasn't it? Limey, you beat a limey.
Again, very quickly, the Carry On Records, wasn't it?
Carry On Records, Carry On totally Records British humour we used in that, and he played along with it.
Yeah, he did.
And a special thanks to Domenico and his cool clothing brand Iron Imperium.
Top man,
great episode. Thanks for the shirts,
great. He did,
Domenico.
We'll
keep promoting your brand.
Giveaways, we'll keep honestly, that brand's going from strength to strength.
Yeah, he do
strength and honour, mate.
Good man,
Domenico.
Strength and honour. Charlie and Nina, we've played the thanks, girls. Good luck with your new sex. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? But
podcast.
I'm sure that's fine. Well, I'll join you for some sex later.
Nice.
Well, the podcast I'm talking about.
Yeah. Is Mrs. out? Is she out?
The cool blues rock artist from the Emerald Isle, Jordan Dennis. Like Jordan, he's been on twice. Really good old boy.
Been on twice,
going places.
Really
support his music. It's great.
Yeah. He's going to be supporting Trev Dealey and his blues.
Come over to the UK, Jordan, and we'll come and see you.
Definitely.
And cool another one I could have played a part with, cool taxidermist and tequila girl, Jane Brown.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. Really interesting lady.
That was different.
Could have done more about that one, I think.
Could have done. That was really, really different. Really was. That was like something else, that one.
Author Neil Reeve and his cool books that he spoke about, and he took you down a few times, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
You know Neil well.
Yeah, I do, unfortunately, yeah.
And Daniel Meikle, the very, very expressive figurative artist.
Yeah, what a great
We all want a bit of his art on our wall. Check him out, Daniel Meikle.
Yeah, I was thinking that when we were going through the episodes, I was having a look at his stuff. And to say what I said on that on the episode, it would make great kind of album covers and stuff.
Yeah,
exactly. And he still does. There's a lot to that man, a lot to his art. It really is.
Check him out. And what this basically, the podcast led us to was this, like we've mentioned already, this BBC Essex interview. There was they were choosing a podcast each week to play a segment of, and I think you got to play 6 minutes of your podcast, and you got an interview for 5 or so minutes, Trev, didn't you? And we got chosen for the antique bottle collecting episode, and basically we had a little interview. So we thought, in case you hadn't heard it on the radio at the time, we'd just play the interview too, because basically it turned into Trev giving Rob Jelly from BBC Essex tips on how to grow his beard. Beard advice. Exactly. He was conscious in the end that he needs to get it back to podcasting. But yes,
he did pull it round.
He did pull it round. But thanks, Rob, for having us on. And
that's nice of you, mate. Nice of you.
Enjoy this interview.
Where we're going first tonight. Our first uploaders are indeed debutantes as well. 2 podcasters, Wayne and Trev. Wayne from Burnham sent them the clip from a mild... hang on. Teeth and jelly. A Midlife Less Ordinary podcast set up. We're going to play a little clip of an episode all about antique bottle collecting. Oh, we do it all on this show. You know we do. And before we get to that, though, firstly, thanks for the upload, gents. How you doing?
Yeah,
hi, Rob. It's great to have you both on board, indeed. If I can't even say your podcast name properly, we'll say it right a few more times. Don't worry about that. How's the day been, Trev?
Yeah, pretty cool. Been at work, which is a necessary evil, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it get paid. That's all that counts.
Keeps you out of trouble for a few hours, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Wayne, how's the day been for you?
Yeah, I was going to say the same. You know, the job would be okay if it wasn't for the work. You know,
yes. What a pain! What a pain the job is.
This is the way of the podcast, you know.
Exactly.
Well, I was going to. That was my. I mean, do you work in the same environment together? Do you work together? How is it that you two came to be? You know, a sort of partnership.
I'll let Trevor explain that one.
Yeah, we went to school together, and then kind of worked together for a little while, and just kept in touch and. Yeah, we've known each other, Wayne, 40 years?
40 years, yeah, for us.
40 years,
yes.
That's
we're only 42, so we've got...
Young friends, of course. Yeah, absolutely. I could tell that from the voice, for sure. But, you know, at what point did you realise, actually, the friendship was something that you could turn into, you know, something which you could share with other people in the form of a podcast? How long has it been going?
Well, the podcast has been going, actually, since January. And the idea came about during lockdown. I think a lot of people had ideas during lockdown.
Yep.
I hadn't connected with Trev because we're all stuck indoors. I was on furlough. I was thinking, how can I get in touch with Trev? Men don't speak as much as the ladies do on the telephones and things. And I was thinking, we really need that time like we used to have in the pub, sorting the world out. So I thought, let's have a podcast. Trev's got lots to say. It'll give us a way to get together and maybe some people will enjoy listening to us. It's worked out that way. It's unbelievable.
Trev, if it makes you feel any better, that's exactly how I got into radio, because someone said,
really?
Rob likes talking a lot. Do you want to do a show together? Needless to say, the last 14 years have been a wonderful journey.
I've got something to look forward to.
You have indeed, absolutely. So, you know, when you first reached out, you know, Wayne, you were chatting and sort of saying, you know, let's kind of do something together and whatnot. Was there quite a lot of chit chat about what the podcast should be, or?
Go on, Trev.
No, really. We kind of looked at it. We reached an age where we thought we just need to get our views out there, I think. People kind of get to their kind of middle age and just think, that's it, pipe and slippers, done. And we were like, nah, that's not what it's about. We want to kind of get out there, try different things, because no one lives forever, so you've got to get out there and do things. That's how we looked at it, wasn't it, Wayne?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. We wanted to get across in a humorous way. We didn't want to be preachy or anything like that. We wanted to get away in a humorous way. Look, you can do this with your life, enjoy it. We've had a go at doing some of these things, and you can do that too. And the feedback we've had, that's the most rewarding part of it, and I'm sure Trevor would agree with that, wouldn't he?
Definitely, yeah. Hearing people thinking, I'm going to do that, I've thought about it for ages, but you guys, in a funny way, obviously telling us, this is what you need to do. Yeah, that is the most rewarding thing. I will totally think that is the best thing.
Now, in season 1 of the podcast, you had a bit of a nostalgic trip. talking about some bits and pieces. One particular subject in question, which is something I'm a firmly sort of ingrained in and engrossed in at the moment, and that is the growing of a beard. Beard club. I wouldn't say specialist subject, but it's a subject nonetheless. Is growing a beard something you've done with lockdown in the last year or so? Is that where that came from?
No, I've had my beard for 4 or 5 years. And yeah, the thing is, it's so fashionable at the moment.
Yep.
And you see so many people taking the wrong advice and kind of not looking after it. And to be honest, beards can look majestic if you really, really kind of look after them. The thing is as well, you get a lot of kind of feedback. Because if someone's got a beard, I'll always talk to them and get, because that's the way of learning knowledge. If you speak to each other, that's exactly how it goes. So you kind of, they're like, my wife doesn't like it, my girlfriend doesn't like it. As long as you put care into it, you put a bit of oil in it, a bit of balm, it smells great. The smell, if you can get your lady to enjoy the smell of it, that's the key.
I hadn't even thought of that. I'm trying to just get it to be conditioned nice and to sort of not annoy me, to be fair, more than anything else. Actually, forget you could get it to smell something. The thing is, the shampoo I've used for it. Sorry, I'm going to get boring now. We're going to go and talk about beards for a second. We'll talk about podcasting in a minute. It's that I just can't help but feel like it needs cleaning so often that you can't keep putting more product into it all the time.
Oh, fallacy! That absolute fallacy, Rob. It only needs shampooing 2 or 3 times a week, unless you do a really dirty job, because you're just stripping the oils, the natural oils, you're just stripping them out. And use beard shampoo. Don't start chucking Vosine.
No, I've got some proper stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Don't fuck about with that, because it's not designed for it. It really isn't. So you're probably doing more harm than good, Rob.
See, all this time I should have just got Wayne Trev on the show before.
You're getting the grief I get, Rob, on the podcast. You're getting it now.
I'm nothing if I'm not a service, Wayne. There we go.
Yeah, thank you.
But obviously, there's loads of other things you've talked about as well. We talked about exercising as well, and the little clip we're going to play this evening about antique bottle collecting. How on earth did that come about? And where can people before you actually tell us what the episode's about? Where can people find the podcast? Because this does sound like something which seems very easy to kind of just get into and enjoy and feel like you're a part of.
Yeah, exactly that. It's the reason antique bottle collecting. We know somebody, it's Paul Cunningham, who's very much into the hobby, and it's something from the 1970s, 1980s. I remember as a boy, and we thought, let's bring it back, but make it an easy, digestible format, and make it easy for people to understand the enjoyment of doing antique bottle collecting outside in the sunshine. Sometimes, digging up treasure, basically.
Yeah.
And the clip we play, I think it sort of gets across the kind of knowledgeable part of the podcast, which we treat with respect, but also the banter that we have also on there as well.
It's the best combo, when you can learn something whilst having some fun at the same time and laughing. That is the best environment to be in, for sure. You're getting smarter, you're enjoying life. What more could you possibly want? Exactly. Available in all the usual places, all the sort of streaming platforms, I assume?
Yes, all of them. Or on the website, which is amlopodcast.com. You can find all the episodes there.
AMLO podcast online, and have a look and you get all the episodes there as well. Wayne and Trev, thank you for being a part of our family.
I think it was fair to say when I found out we were going to be on the radio, Trev knows that I never phone or anything just for no reason.
You don't.
And that moment when I got a text from BBC Essex saying,
me out when you phoned.
I got a message saying, we want you to come on. It was only a little while after I'd sent the stuff off. He says, we've listened to your podcast. We want you to come on BBC Essex. And I was like, that's not come on BBC Essex before anyone gets excited. But we want you to make an appearance.
Turned on by the digital radio.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, can I have my I don't know what to call you then, my co-host. I'd say partner then. Yeah. I was going to say that don't sound right. Yeah, well, but co-host Trev on there. He said, yeah,
could do worse, mate. You could do worse. Could
do worse. I've had worse. But it's...
You fucking have. I've seen it.
Don't tell the missus. But it's oh dear, I'm going to be
with trouble now. But it's, but yeah, and I contacted Trev. I was phoning him, and he wouldn't answer his phone because I know he's watching some animated crap on Netflix or something.
Yeah,
and he's thinking, what does he want at like 10 o'clock at night? But he must know. He's sitting there thinking, what does he want? Because he don't phone. I'm not the sort of person who phones.
Who the fuck's died?
Yeah, who's died? And he texted me back and he said, I'm watching some, and I said, look, you want to know about this? Trust me. Yeah. and he phoned me back and he said, and I said, man, we're on BBC and you were made up for it. And we were so good, it was great. We saw how it works behind the scenes. We got a link to Zoom. I don't know if you've ever been on the radio before.
That was the time we actually christened the audio green room.
That's right, audio green room.
Audio green room.
Yeah.
That was the term that. It's where like people went before we interviewed them. The audio green room. It sounded really professional. It was just what us idiots made up on the spot.
Yeah, he does sound really impressive. But we could see him. I don't think he can see us, but we could see him doing his radio show for about 10 minutes before.
It was a look into it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a look into the world of production of radio. And then all of a sudden he goes, and now we're going over to Midlife Less Ordinary or something like that. And we were like, oops, here we go. But it was really good. I really, one of the top moments from doing this podcast. I mean, apart from talking to all the guests, and is great. And then to close off the kind of celebration of this year and a bit of doing the podcast, Trev, one of my favourite moments was when we come on. We were going to do a competition to give away some of our merchandise.
Oh yeah,
and we had this idea, and we come on Saturday night. I think it was. We had a couple of drinks, and we were making ideas up.
Yeah.
And we come up with this thing. You were going to do a Clint Eastwood impression, and I was going to do something else.
I don't know where it come from. No. I don't know why. I for some reason, I went into this sort of southern drawl, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it just sounded like Clint Eastwood. We were stuck with that, and then
we just made it up as we go along.
And to be honest, for some reason, you sounded like Gretel from Hansel and Gretel. And it's just like this weird thing we did just to give a T-shirt away.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? And no, it wasn't. It was a good
But we were cracking up. I remember we were doing it and I was just laughing and laughing and laughing.
Yeah,
it took about 2 hours.
The thing. Not only have we enjoyed the guests on there, we've had a really good time doing
behind
it.
The scenes,
a real good laugh.
Yeah.
We really have. That was the best thing about it. We got out more than anybody out of this.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Which
is the way it should be, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, we did. It did. It was just a real fun thing to do. It really was. And like one last time, it was great. Everybody that listened, everybody that did anything for us, brilliant.
Yeah,
but it's not the end. We're still going to cover local stuff in Southend, and if they want us to promote things, we'll do it.
Yeah, we've got all the equipment.
We will come back now and again.
We've got a full.
It's just not going to be as regular, is it?
No, we're not going to do the weekly thing. We realised we got a bit too ambitious when we tried to get the podcast right up to live weekly.
Too big for our boots.
We did. We got to get arrogant with it, which is not so I've ever believed Trev could be capable of. It's terrible.
What, arrogance? Yeah. No way. I don't think I've ever been arrogant. I don't think I've ever been arrogant. It doesn't exist in my vocabulary. No.
But, thank you to everyone who supported us along this ride. The listeners, the guests, anyone basically, Buzzsprout, who support us with a great platform to put a podcast on. Yeah, the sponsors, the Big In, Iron Imperium again.
Iron Imperium, Dominico.
Anyone who sent money to us, thank you.
Yes, for the start. Anybody that kind of, and we had dreams of merchandising stuff. We still might do one.
We still got T-shirts. If anyone wants a T-shirt, we can order them for you. So just let us know. And then we can
if you really want to clean your car with something that's really, really good, one of our T-shirts would be great.
Go to Wilco's and get like a little terry cloth. And just pretend it's got Trev's face on it while you wipe it around your car.
Round your arse.
Round your arse.
Pretend it's got Trev's face on it when you're rubbing it around your crutch at one point. Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, it's a sad. It could be construed as a sad time, but as a final little hurrah, enjoy our competition. Please don't enter this competition, by the way. This competition's done.
We thought it would last for a little while, but one of our good friends that listened to us got it straight away.
Yeah, got it within 5 seconds.
I was like, oh, right, we know where that's going then.
It's all them hours of effort, Dawn. I hope you enjoyed your goodie bag. thanks everyone for joining us along this journey. We hope to see you again soon. Trev,
we will be back at some point.
It's been a pleasure. It really has, even though I hate saying it. It's been
fucking absolute atrocious doing this for a year and a month.
I know. I'm sorry.
It really has.
I'm sorry. You can have a rest now. You can get over it, and maybe we can revisit it if we're still alive in a pensioner less ordinary.
Exactly. I was travelling home from work and thinking, if we got back together and did one in 5-6 years' time or 10 years' time, we could do a pensioner's life less ordinary, couldn't we?
You'd have to get.
I did think of that. You've
got to get your deaf aid in and get your earbuds out your ears first, Trev. But no, all jokes to one side. Thanks, Trev, for your support. It all worked out better than what I could have expected, to be honest.
Way better. But I think the trouble is they always say shoot for the stars, and I think we did that a bit too high, didn't we?
We did.
That was the thing. But it's not the want of not wanting to do it. It's just trying to fit it in to a busy lifestyle. And trying to
keep up the quality that we want to give everyone.
Try to keep it up rather than just not knock them out every week and not them be as good.
Yeah.
They always say that if you take your hand off it for a little while, then you come better.
Thanks for that. Any other might as well leave them with some tips. Why not?
Exactly. Put your thumb over the top.
Yeah.
That works a treat there.
So it's like a bottle of
bird.
I never expected this for our little emotional goodbye. But thanks for that, Trev, for lightening the load. Oops, look, say load. It's not like the heavier the load, but
exactly. The higher the load.
I think that's a good time to say goodbye.
End it.
So thanks everyone. We'll see you all again soon.
We will be back, just not as regular.
We will be back as Terminator said. See you later. Goodbye. Bye everyone.
See ya.
See ya.
Hey, you there?
Who, me?
Yes, you. Is that a midlife less ordinary you're listening to?
Yes, it is. What do you want?
Do you want to win a goodie bag?
Oh, yes, please. How do I do that?
Answer this question. In episode 12, our guest can be found on what dating site?
Hope I win. How do I enter?
Go to amlopodcast.com, the contact page, and leave your answer there. The first answer correct will win.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please leave a rating and review and visit our website at www.amlopodcast.com to check out all the links and resources in the show notes. Start living them good times. See you next time.